Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to the Monogatari series. It is the second season, episode 10, the end of our little storyline about my most favorite Hachikuji. And as always, if you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions and you will find a link. Replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots and enjoy the reaction. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear out my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, well, come back again. Now, there was a great ending of the storyline, with a lot of surprises. A lot of stuff that I did not see coming. I had a theory, it was not a really clear one, about how they can get back to the past. I thought, like, to repair stuff, you know. But instead we went for different timelines, different versions of reality, which we had in a little bit like in Steins Gate. So that's okay. So they just had to find their own world. Still needs a lot of energy to travel there. And my theory about them getting the energy was possibly, just one theory, that they were either able to turn Araragi into a human again, so he can use the absorbing piece of paper, and there thus it absorbed, or the energy should be in, and then they can use it somehow. Or I thought, and I think I discussed it last time, that maybe somehow Oshino Meme will have a plan, although I wasn't sure about that, because it would mean that he would have to be aware of what happened, meaning the time jump. And that was very, you know, wishy-washy, unclear. But that's more neither what happened. So, bit of surprise there. It's good to see that Oshino Meme is, in whatever version of the world, is one hell of a planner. He really has the overview of what's about to happen. As it seems, he's working together with his two school friends to save the world. Nice thing. I mean, you could make a spin-off out of this. That's really a good idea, although the world is very depressing. He, by studying the abominations in the area, heard about someone rescuing Hachikuji in the past, and he sensed that somehow this is abnormal. Not a normal thing to have happened. Possibly mainly because Hachikuji, I guess, like, has like rest energy, that like him as someone who knows the supernatural world, the spiritual world, possibly he realizes that she was destined to be a ghost instead. Something like that. Or that she shouldn't have been saved at this time. Just guessing. However, he was aware it was Araragi. He found that out, and by doing so, he kind of set together all the pieces. I think it's doable, but it needs someone with a lot of background knowledge, so it's very fitting. I like the idea. I was completely surprised by the fact that Hachikuji was still alive and they met her. I was like, when they started the firework, I was like, okay, maybe Oshino Meme will appear, or any of the other like I wouldn't say like Senjugahara or Hanekawa, except maybe Hanekawa Cat, Black Cat, because she is powerful, while the other persons we know are not very powerful. They possibly couldn't survive long enough in such a world. But Oshino is, as is the black tree, the dead tree, and his friends, all of those. So they were on my priority list of who might show up. Then secondary, I was like, maybe it's like Karen, or it's his sisters, you know, or it's Senjugahara or Hanekawa, any of his girls. But I never... That's a bit strange. I really didn't think about it could be Hachikuji. It just was not in my brain in this moment. But it's cool to see her. It was very nice to see her as an adult, as a grown-up version. So you can clearly recognize her. She looks very similar. She kept a lot of her stuff, so the backpack and everything. Um, but there are some major differences. She is very lean. She looks very due to her clothing, a little bit military type, which is fitting in such a world. You know, you have to survive against zombies, so you have to be able to run away, to fight, and whatever. And that was pretty entertaining. She is the grown-up there because she, as we know, is 10 years older than her ghost version that we know from her outer appearance. And the two of them here in the picture are not. They are not grown-ups. They are not adults. They are still kids. Although Araragi, possibly you could say, is not really a kid anymore, but he's a teen. Yeah, but from her perspective, from her point of view, both of them are teens, especially because they dress like that. Which I still think is hilarious. The idea of running through a dead world in clothes like that, and they did with the picture the jolly time they have together. Although they are in a dead world, they are holding hands, they're walking together, and very often in scenes like this, it looks like they're walking through a field of grain or anything, and just have a good time, like just enjoying the fact they're together. And I think they are. Which is one of the major things here in this episode and in the storyline in general, pointing out, and for me understanding, the fact that those two need to work together. They need to have each other. As we know now, if Araragi would die somehow or they would be separated, it is bad things happen. In the most major thing, as it seems, would be the end of the world. I don't know if they would be split right now, if it would happen, because Shinobu saw and realized what happened there in this alternate world. So maybe she will think about it. But it might very well be happening in such a case that she's getting depressed or anything, you know? And it would possibly lead to something bad as well. So that's an interesting thing. And I underestimated a lot, even until the end of the episode, how close they are and how much Shinobu needs Araragi, how much he means to her. Although she states that he is her minion, so she's the one in control, in many ways it's not. So when they met her alternate version, her full vampire version, at the shrine, I was completely and truly expecting a fight. I really was expecting her to be like completely crazy and destructive, and even when she offered to sacrifice herself, I thought it was a trap. I really waited because both of them dropped their swords and walked towards her, and I was like, this has to be a trap. When they are there, she will rip them apart. When she asked him to put his hand on her head, I was like, okay, I can see that maybe she really, really misses him. It might be an option, but I still see the option that she just wants to have him close and then she will drain him. You know, it's one of the not so many people anymore she can drain. But it didn't happen. And that was something that really surprised me. I really expected her to go haywire and crazy. But no. She was really depressed. She was really down. She really missed her other half. And although this was in the past seasons shown a bit here and there, how much and how important this connection is to her, I think I really underestimated a long time. So, she wanted a pat on the head, you know, the feel-good moment before she goes. She did not fight back at all when she was drained by her smaller, younger Otherworld version. They did not show the travel, but that's not important. So, yeah, a lot of surprises for me in this episode. yeah, we the one thing we have to learn from this: whatever happens, don't die. In case of Araragi, he is not allowed to die, because that would be bad for the world. There are two more things I had. The one thing is, because it's a very interesting question and theory that Araragi pointed out. He rescued Hachikuji, and due to that, the world was destroyed. So, as he said, is it fate that if Hachikuji dies, the world has to be destroyed? We have this in a lot of movies and series when it's about time travel or stuff, or fate effects, that there are like moments when you have to choose path and you have to say save everyone or save one person, as example, here it is: would you be willing, just for the life of one person, to destroy the whole world? In general, anyone possibly would say no, you shouldn't. I mean, whose life is worth so much? But then, who is it to decide that? I think, on the one hand, you could say everyone that has the question in front of him has to decide it, so it's his choice, and that's it, because fate made him the one to choose it. On the other hand, it's like no one should decide something like that, or should have to decide something like that. So, yes, if fate makes the fact that makes it up that it says if you rescue one person, everything else is destroyed, then you would say, okay, I will not rescue the person. But if fate, on the other hand, gives you this choice, then the goddamn fate should know you might be crazy enough to save this one person, because you love the person, because it is someone who's very dear to you. Will happen. So he said he is simply not accepting the fact or the option that there is something like that. He's not accepting that there is only those two choices, either her or the world. So he is someone searching for both. Reminded me a little bit of Madoka Magica as example, where we had characters that were not willing to give up and endlessly search and struggle, like in Steins Gate as well. So there are many series who have this question in them: how long will you try to find the perfect place in the middle? And the other question that popped up to me in the end of the episode was when he met Hachikuji again in her ghost form, which I completely adore. The fact that she is so calm about that she's a ghost now. She brought it to the point. The moment when it happened, dying and losing everything you had in your life, never seeing your parents again and everything, was a bad moment. But the existence later on in general, especially because she met Araragi and has a very good life since then, as it seems, life, whatever you would call it. So she's in searching for the word here. She's fine with it. Let's just say she's fine with it. Yeah, she definitely, well, loves him. I'm not sure. Adores him for sure. She sees a lot in him, and as he said himself, the way she talks and acts has changed because she has met him. So only the version in his world where they have this very strange relationship has this very own way of talking and behaving, which is very much like him right now. So I like the fact that she's okay with it. But she said something: I wanted to have my backpack back before you look into it. So now I ask myself, what the heck is inside there? Maybe we will find out one day, maybe not, we will see. This was a great episode. I really liked it. It was a good one. A good storyline in general. It was, although it is about Hachikuji and who she is, and brought some more insight on her because we've seen her grown-up version later on, and the relationship between her and Araragi is deepened. I think it is mainly about Araragi and Shinobu. And for me, that's a very important arc of the storyline because, as I said in the discussion before, I was not aware how deep this relationship is, how meaningful and how important. So, yeah, I like it. Now, time for more donuts. I guess she will get some now. She did some good. So that's it for this time. As always, feel free to comment, to like, and to subscribe. And I will see you the next time. And that's it. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.